Hello guys, video today taking a look at Black Desert Online's cash shop and my thoughts on it during the second phase of the closed beta test, which is just before launch. Now, Black Desert for us in Europe and North America is a buy to play game as opposed to free to play, which means that every player playing the game has already paid their part, so there are no freeloaders, so there's not that necessity for Daum to go for the more predatory cash shop practices, sort of like RNG boxes and stuff like that. And this immediately makes me feel less concerned about the future of the game and the future of the cash shop as well. And I'm just going to say now that other than a few tweaks, I would definitely say it's one of the better ones that I've seen in quite a while. So basically I'm just going to go through what's available from the cash shop, whether or not I think it's reasonable, and if not, my own suggestions for it. Obviously these are all my own views, they're by no means correct, so if you agree or disagree with me on any point, feel free to pop a comment below. So to start with, there's a few currencies in use here. First is Daum Cash, which you can buy directly from Daum, and this isn't actually usable other than to purchase pearls, which are the main currency in Black Desert. You can purchase in bundles of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 6,000 and 10,000, and they give you bonuses based on the size of the transaction, which is a pretty normal practice, which pushes you to want to buy more at once, since each dollar or pound you spend is worth more pearls. The next two sections, loyalties and function, are pretty similar in what they sell but use different currencies, one of which is earnable in-game. Because of this, everything here, which could be construed as given an in-game advantage, like the inventory expansion and the weight limit increase, aren't really an issue. Obviously paying for them with pearls gives you the inventory related stuff quicker, but it's something that I wouldn't really bother paying for myself when I can just expand it through quests and increase the weight limit through the loyalty points. There's also a few unique things within the loyalty section, but I'm not really going to go into them since they're not actually anything to do with your actual money. So the next section, costumes, has had a few people upset, and I do sort of agree with some of the uproar that's come from it. So within the actual game, costumes are very, very limited, and I think it's pretty clear that the reason they're limited is to push people to get the ones from the cash shop. Which is fine, I actually think it's quite a good system for monetization. And Daum won't really have the need nor the excuse to implement any more nefarious cash shop tricks. The issue arises when looking at the price of the outfit. Currently the game costs $30 at base price, whilst the full costume sets cost $32 each, which is, yeah, it's more than the game, which I think is probably too high. And I suspect that it's probably going to exclude people from purchasing costumes entirely, or at least limit their desire to. In addition to the only way for your character to look different, it also gives a set bonus which will improve various stats and rates in the game. Most are fairly unsubstantial, but the full set gives 10% combat XP boost, which is huge. The vast majority of experience in the game is from killing monsters, so without this boost you will really be gimping yourself in terms of progression. There's also a different set effect from the tree ant costume, which makes your name more difficult to see for other players. So for those who want to give themselves the best chance in PvP, why would you use anything else? Personally, I think the bonuses on costumes are unnecessary, but I'm doubtful we're ever going to see them removed. So if they are going to stay, then I think they should be homogeneous and there shouldn't be that conflict between how you want to look and what's optimal. I also think the prices could be dropped a bit. Currently it's pretty steep, and it would make me think twice about purchasing a costume on a whim. If they were, say, 30 to 50% cheaper, that'd be less likely to happen, and I'm more likely to buy more than one costume. As it stands, I'm only going to be using the Conqueror's Package one, because I struggle to justify another at these prices at the minute. So the next section is furniture. I think this is pretty reasonable. Again, here you can get temporary buffs from your furniture, but they're mostly minimal. Things like beds allowing quicker energy regen whilst you're AFK, or increased HP recovery or gathering speed. They're all things that are nice to have, but ultimately nothing game changing. Again, prices are probably a little bit steep, but you can acquire furniture pieces in game. I don't know that the effects are quite as good as the cash shop ones, but it doesn't feel as forced or exclusive as the costumes are. So the next section, mounts, I've got mixed feelings on. I like the gear sets for the horses, which provide really minimal bonuses, to the point it's just a perk to buying them rather than a reason to. And you can buy sort of some horse gear from the NPCs in game as well. The horse flute is a great little quality of life item, completely not necessary, but it's nice to have to get your mount from further away. And then we hit the boats and wagons, which are easily my biggest issue with the shop. So when you buy a boat or a wagon skin, you actually get the license for the boat too, which allows you to skip over the whole collecting of resources and just get the boat straight away. It completely cheapens the process of building your wealth and getting a collection of vehicles, but not only that, the licenses are tradable. It's the only place in the cash shop where you can trade pearls to silver. The license just needs to be removed. I have no idea what it's even doing there. Other than that, for the ship and the wagon, the bonuses seem fine. You barely notice them other than the weight limits, and even then, you're probably going to struggle to fill them up even without them. So moving on to pets, and they're a little similar to costumes, in that you sort of need them to be the best you can be. They all auto loot, and then depending on the type of animal, they give different effects, like the dog has enemy detection, the cat has gathering no detection, which isn't really one of the better ones. I know the penguin later on will give faster auto fishing. Stuff like this locks you into needing certain pets for certain things, like you wouldn't want a PvP without a dog. Compared to the costumes though, I think the price is more reasonable for these. I'm willing to buy them for what they're at, but beyond the auto loot, which I consider a more quality of life thing, I'd like to see the other bonuses removed for the same reason as I'd like to see the bonuses on costumes homogenised. I doubt that will happen though, and I don't have a major issue because you can fill your free pet slots with multiple smaller transactions than costumes. The beauty section is pretty cool. There's a one-time change at a pretty standard price, but there's also a coupon that allows infinite changes over a 30-day period for marginally more pearls than the one-time one. It's pretty cool to give people the choice. I've not seen it done before, so I think it's a great move here. Sometimes you can have a great plan for your character, and then when you actually get it in game after changing their appearance, you don't like it anymore. So I think it's good that you can change it around until you find something that you do like. And now onto the final section, which is dyes, which feature an RNG dye box system, and I'm not a fan of any RNG in cash shops, so already it's a bit of a negative. Basically you pay 50 pearls for one, or 120 pearls for 3 boxes, which will contain a dye within a range that will only be usable once. Now there's a lot of dyes in Black Desert, a huge amount of different shades, so purchasing a red box can net you a number of different dyes ranging from brownish to pink, making it kind of difficult to actually match up your gear colours. There's no option to outright buy the colour you want, only the range, and I think this actually hurts the entire dye system, which is absolutely fantastic, excluding the acquisition of them, and it's going to end up pushing most people away to the point that they don't even bother with it. I think a preferable system would be either to keep the randomness in the shop, but for the dyes to be unlocked and permanent, or to remove the randomness and keep the single use system. Obviously for us we'd prefer permanent and not random. I doubt that will happen because they really want it to be a continuous money stream, so I suspect that if there was going to be a change, it would be selling the individual dyes for one-time use, and that would be the easiest for Down to implement as well. So in summary, I think overall the cash shop is shaping up quite well for the West. It's by no means finalised, and I think Down are pretty receptive to what we do and don't like, and they'll probably make changes if you offer constructive criticism to them. So I think the functions, loyalty and beauty sections are brilliant, and the furniture section I don't really have an issue with. Costumes could do with removing the bonuses, or at least keeping them all the same. It'd be nice to see them at a cheaper price to give more of an incentive for multiple costumes or costumes on multiple characters. Again, the price of pets is fine, but I wouldn't mind seeing the bonus effects removed, though I'm not entirely sure how likely that is to happen. The mount section needs to get rid of the ship and wagon licenses. There's no need for them in the shop, and they seem to contradict what Down's been pushing for when they removed player trading. Finally, the dye section needs either more permanence or less randomness for me to consider dabbling in it. So those are my thoughts. I'm hopeful about the cash shop, and I'm normally quite skeptical of them, so take that how you will. I hope you find the video a little bit insightful or interesting. If you did, let me know via a like, comment or subscribe. As always guys, thanks for watching and take care.